ईश्वर परतंत्र योगो क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञ योगो जगत कारणत्व मुक्तम. So क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञ two prakriti. The two prakriti is that the two prakriti constitute really Ishvara. So they are all they are the Kshetrajna with Avidya, etc. Because the association is due to Avidya. And therefore the association, whenever you talk about Kshetrajna and Kshetra, you are bringing in the Samyoga, and which is due to Avidya alone. And therefore that Samyoga is Anadi, because of Anadi Prakriti. And they are within the domain of Ishvara. Mayavi Ishvara, Mayi Ishvara. Ishvara Paratantra, because then the Karyam is non-separate from Karana, Ishvara. You get that. Then we can say the Kshetrajna, the Swarupa of Kshetrajna is the Swarupa of Ishvara. That's all very easy. That's why I said there is Swarupa Satchidananda and there is Mayi. Ishvara Paratantra Yoga. See, the Kshetra is equivalent to Pradhanam, Prakriti. One Prakriti equivalent to Pradhanam. Because that is also Trigunatmika and equivalent to Pradhanam. But then, the Pradhanam Swatantram. And it itself creates. And it is Jadam. Therefore, Chedana Kartrikam it is not. So therefore it is Chetanatvat dismissed. Idam Jagat Chetana Kartrikam. Pratiniyata Desha Kala Allah. Allah Chetana Kartrikam. Therefore, without Ishvara, they are talking about. Then the other one, Pradhanam is separate from Ishvara. They set up an Ishvara, an inferential Ishvara, which cannot be established, and who is separate from the Pradhana. That also won't stand, because he has to prove Ishvara through logic. He cannot do that. Logic cannot establish Ishvara. We will be seeing all that. I am contented with this life. I am sure I will have next Janma. Anyway, are we not choosing our own parents, gurus, gender and everything that we enjoy or suffer as a result of our own vasanas and karmas? So can we plan now for our next Janma, birth, parents and everything there onwards? We can plan. What we will have, we don't know. So, we can plan. There is nothing wrong in planning. In fact, we do all good things in order to have a better birth, better everything, or at least a similar thing. In this life, if you are happy, then you'd like to have a repeat life. Proper gurus. There is one, this Kriya Baba. This Kriya Baba and all this, the self-realization people, Kriya Baba people. They say that the gurus and shishyas are reborn. Same guru and same shishya. I don't know what for this fellow was shishya. And both gurus and shishyas are reborn together. You are stuck. This is a new cycle. And I was in Rishikesh, one Mahatma was there. He was from Kriya Baba. He was from Switzerland. He was a Swiss Jnanananda. His name was Jnanananda. He was a Kriya Baba person. He used to tell me that only I understood that this is what the thinking is. In Guru and Shishya reborn, sometimes they will say husband and wife are reborn. That is because of their commitment. They are reborn. So one life is not enough and therefore they are reborn. That is okay. That is okay. Because they can continue the fight. The next life also they can carry on. So that is understandable. But the Guru and Shishya and reborn, I am not able to understand this. Another thing, Guru also is reborn. And Shishya also is reborn. So we work for no birth. And if there is a birth, it will be better birth. See, if you work for no birth, then you become a Kalyanakrit. Therefore, there will be no Durgati. We always say very good gati. Naki Kalyanakrit kaschid Durgatim tata gacchati. Durgatim na gacchati. Therefore, work for moksha, no rebirth. If there is one, it will be good. It will become the thread and continue. So, that is the best way to address this problem. Yeah. Can I attain self-realization now and here in this life itself? What can deny you? Nothing can deny you. we should assume the pursuit is going to be fruitful. Then only you can pursue. It will be fruitful. Not in the next janma. Right now. Because you are free. The self is free. So it's a question of seeing and knowing. So Swamiji's unfolding of Vedanta blesses us with a vision of such blinding clarity. Despite this, the spell of samsara can seem very convincing. Can we say that samsara is like an indoctrination or addiction? That Vedanta is the only detoxification program. Since Brahman is the very being, going cold turkey and having nothing to do with it is not possible. It is clear that eventually all can be gracefully embraced. However, in the meantime, how to break the habitual personality-based living that seems to be like constantly pouring ghee on a fire which I am committed to extinguish. It's all true, dull, seeming, everything is seeming. So we have to see the seeming. Samsara seems to be an addiction. Thinking is a habit. The orientation that I am that I have to get something, I have to be different. It's some kind of an orientation. So you stay there. When you stay there and you like to be different. Therefore, that contemplation upon the fact that I don't need to be different. So that's the contemplation we have to do. So it's a reorientation. It is true. Your habitual thinking and the reorientation. In fact, we need that cold turkey. So that alone can save you. Because it's uninvolved with anything. I don't think there is any alternative for contemplation, is it that? Because we are not totally ready. Not totally ready. We are not come totally prepared for this knowledge. So our adhikaritvam is always in degrees, and therefore a lot of contemplation is necessary. Hours of contemplation daily. In the morning class, we said, Yat Karyam Tatsakartrikam. It's not a vyapti because we cannot prove this. But then we find that in the world, any product has a karta. Does this not establish the vyapti? No, it does not establish the vyapti. Why? Because then without a karta, we see Ankuradikam, plants, trees, they are all karya. They are put together. They were not there before. It is put together, intelligently put together. But there is no karta. With that jnanam, we don't see any karta. Therefore, that vyapti, that karyam, tatsakartrikam, that becomes wrong. There is avyapti. But this one is there, so there is no vyapti. If you accept the Shruti Vakya, then we can use that. So the Karta here is Ishvara. From there we can extend to Ishvara. Yeah. Karyatvat, there must be Karta, if we can say. So you cannot create the Vyapti. From there you cannot do. From the Shruti you can take all this. From the Vyapti you cannot establish Ishvara. Somebody has written a foreword, a unique feature of the Advaita philosophy as taught by Sri Shankaracharya is that it can bear summing up in the shortest compass. In the words of the late Yaman Vivedi, it can be expressed in half a verse or a quarto volume of many hundred pages. This philosophy, what a great accomplishment. All right, okay. This philosophy, which in the words of Dr. Theodor Goldstacker, is the sublimest machinery set in motion by Oriental thought, yet rests upon a minimum number of postulates and needs for the defense but a few simple arguments based upon the facts of our daily experience. It is this profound simplicity which has enabled Vedanta writers to compose those gems of short treatises or prakaranas as they are styled, which so richly abound in the literature of the Advaita Vedanta, and which in a few telling but homely verses bring home the cardinal doctrines of Advaita even to the unlettered multitude. The Advaita Makaranda of Lakshmidhara is one of these priceless gems in marvelous brevity and the compelling force of its arguments remained one of the in 28 clean-cut, understood slokas, the entire philosophy of the Advaita is dealt with a comprehensiveness, simplicity and precision which are simply admirable. The closely reasoned thesis contained in each sloka can well be expanded into a volume. The commentator is therefore thoughtfully justified when he states यद्यपि प्रतिश्लोकं बहु वक्तव्यम् अस्ति तथापि मंदबुद्धीनाम् अलसानाम् उत्पादनार्थं प्रवृत्तेन मया ग्रंथकाठिन्य गौरवं भयात् उपरतम्. In fact, the Advaita Makaranda must be got up by heart by those who want to provide themselves with an armory of arguments in defense of the Advaita position. This is what I want. Of Lakshmidhara Kavi, the author of the Advaita Makaranda, we have very little information. Besides the Advaita Makaranda, he has composed Amrita Tarangani, a commentary on the Srimad Bhagavata and Bhagavan Nama Kaumadi. At the end of the later work, he says, University, Madras. From the Bhagavan Nama Kaumudi, Amrita Tarangani as Pasam. Date, no positive information forthcoming. Mahamahopadhyaya Vasudeva Shastri Abhyankar of Pune, in his valuable edition of Sarvadarshana Sangraha, assigns Lakshmi Dhara to 1320 AD. No ground is, however, stated for this statement. Bodhendra Saraswati, the renowned devotee, an apostle of the Namakirtans cult in South India, states in his Bhagavan Nama that Lakshmi Dhara flourished in the region of King Bhojaraja of the 11th century AD. This statement also requires confirmation, coming as it does from a writer who flourished in so late as the second half of the 18th century AD. A critical examination of Bhagavan Nama Kaumudi and Bhagavata Tika may furnish details regarding Lakshmi Dhara. As we have at present no access to these works, we shall simply content ourselves with determining the latest date beyond which Lakshmi Dhara cannot be placed. Firstly, Lakshmi Dhara, Bhagavan Nama Kaumudi was commented upon by Anantadeva. So, Lakshmidhara Kavindraha, the author of Advaita Makaranda, had also authored a commentary on Bhagavatam, Amrita Tarangini. I'd like to see that if that is possible. Amrita Tarangini. And Bhagavan Nama Kaumadi, which I have seen. Finally, they say 1700 AD, somewhere between 16th and 17th century. 16 and all, and then 17. So that's what they say. And it's not far away in Indian standard. He was a devotee of Krishna. All these great authors have their Ishta Devatas. Now Ratnaprabha author Govindananda had his Ishta Devata in Rama. Some of his prayer verses are very, very beautiful. We will be reading them sometime. And his disciple Purnananda who wrote a Tika to his Tika, Purnanandiyam, was a Bhakta of Krishna. So he has got some nice verses also. So Lakshmidhara therefore invokes the blessings of Krishna before writing his commentary, before writing this prakarana. Kataksha Kirana Chanta Naman Mohabdaye Namaha Anantananda Krishnaya Jagan Mangala Murtaye Kataksha Kirana Chanta Naman Mohabdaye Namaha Anantananda Krishnaya Jagan Mangala Murtaye This is an expression in Sanskrit literature and also in regional languages in India, that Kataksha, Tiryak Padita Drishti, means a horizontal drishti, a glance. Kadaikan forward. A glance from the corner of one eye. Orachupu. Orachupuchu Sedinyayama Oraghutama Nivantivaniki Orachupuchu Orachupuchu Sedinyayama O Raghuttama, Nivantivani. You are such a big person. What will you lose if you look at me directly? Why are you looking at me from this corner? Orachupuchu Sedinyayama O Raghuttama Nivantivaniki Orachupuchu Orachupuchu Sedinyayama. At least Orachupu cheyandi. So that Tyagaraja feels already he has got Kataksha. He is able to compose all these songs. And he wants direct look. But we need only Bhagavan's Kataksha. a big person, Kataksha is enough. Big person says, okay, बहुत हो जाता है. Okay, the contract again would. Okay, you make money. All full scam because of that. All signatures are there. Manmohan Singh, he has signed all these big contracts. And he says he doesn't know anything, he is a clean person. That makes it worse. And so, all these scams carry his signature. நான் கைத்து போடுறேன், வாங்குற ஆளு வேறன்னு அர்த்தம். Therefore, the big person, even a small consideration, big person would make a lot of difference in the life of a person who needs help. We are talking of Bhagavan. His Kataksha is enough. Lord Krishna is called Kataksha Kiranachanta Naman Mohaptihi Tasmai Mohaptaye Ananta Ananda Krishnaya Jagan Mangala Murtaye. Namaha is there. Kataksha Kiranachanta Naman Mohabdaye Namaha. Anantananda Krishnaya Namaha. Jagan Mangala Murtaye Namaha. Or one Namaha. Anantananda Krishnaya Jagan Mangala Murtaye Kataksha Kiranachanta Naman Mohabdaye Namaha. Kataksha Kirana Kiranani. Kirana is ray. Rays are called Kiranani. Kataksha Kiranaihi. By the rays of whose glance Kataksha. Whose glance? Achantaha Mohabdihi Namaskritana Mohabdihi Achantaha. Yasya Saha. Whose rays of whose glance dry up the ocean of Dighi, the ocean of delusion. Bhavasagar sab sukh gaya hai. Same idea. Mohabdihi, the ocean of delusion in which these people were drowning, And they sought whose feet namaskritanam tesham mohabdihi achantaha kataksha kiranaihi. Whose kataksha kiranaihi? Krishna. He is Krishna. Krishna's name. This is the advantage of Sanskrit, Bahuri compound. Kataksha kiranachant naman mohabdaye namaha. The rays of whose glance dry up the ocean of delusion for those who sought his feet. That Krishna, Tasmai Mohabdaye, Tasmai, unto that Krishna, my namaskar. How do you know Krishna? Anantananda Krishnaya. Who is Krishna? And who is Ananta Anandaha? Who is Anantaha Anandaha or Ananta Anandaha? Who Anantascha Anandascha? Who is limitless and who is Ananda? Or who is Ananda, limitless Ananda? So Anantananda Krishnaya. And this Krishna is Satchidananda, Anantananda. Then the Krishna that was his sister Devata. What is that Devata? He says it is Bhagavan in the form of this Krishna. What is that form? Jagan Mangala Murti. It is Jagataha Mangala Murti, for the entire Jagat to bless, whose form is meant only to bless. Mangala Murti. Every avatara is only a Mangala Murti for the Jagat. Jagan Mangala Murtaye. Tasmai Jagan Mangala Murtaye. The Jagan Mangala Murti should be viewed only as avatara. Every avatara is Jagan Mangala Murti. Jagataham Mangala Murti. Because why there should be an avatara? What is the purpose of avatara? That's it. The purpose of avatara is to fulfill the prayers of the bhaktas. Whether there was an avatara or not, That avatara itself is Mangalamurti. Jagatam Mangalamurti, Jagan Mangalamurti. One form, the blessing assumes a form, hands and legs, then appears for some time, keeping the Maya under control. Tasmai Jaganmangalamurtaye Anantananda Krishnaya Kataksh Kirana Chanta Naman Mohabde Namah. My Namaskar. This Kataksha Kirana is Vritti Jnana. Kataksha Kirane. Bhagavat Kataksha is Veda Shastra. The whole Veda Shastra. And the Vedanta Shastra, in that. And then the Mahavakya is the Kataksha. That is the Kataksha. Tiryak Padita Drishti. That is the Kataksha. What you require is one sentence. Finally, it is one sentence. The Mahavakya. That vritti becomes Kataksha. Moha drives us that I am a Jiva, Karta, Bhokta, God. And then who becomes Anantananda Krishna? And he becomes Jaganmangala Murti again. Because there is no more Purushartha left. Then the whole life becomes Mangala. Jaganmangala. Jaganmangala Murti. Anantananda Krishnaya Kataksha Kirana Chanta Naman Mohabdi. Beautiful verse. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.